really popular topic. So I think this is going to be really fun. So the first thing you need to do when planning your trip is make a reservation, which means that you simply call a travel agent and ask them to reserve a seat for you on a plane that will take you where you want to go. And then after that, you have a certain amount of time to pay for the ticket you were reserving. I imagine that if you haven't already traveled abroad, that you are planning on taking a trip to another country someday, right? And when you want to travel to another country, you usually go by plane. See, it's just because most countries are really big, and it's not like driving from one city to another in your car. Every time you go by plane, you arrive at your destination so much faster. A trip that might take 24 hours to drive in a car can be made in 2 hours in an airplane. So when you want to get somewhere fast, it's much more convenient to go by plane, especially if it's far away. Now, the travel agent is the person who usually has direct access to airline companies' databases, which means they can usually help you find the best flights and fares. The fare simply means the price of the flight on the plane. Once you've made your reservation and paid for your ticket, you need to get ready to travel. Usually, people take some of their personal belongings with them, which they put in a suitcase or a handbag. They put things like their clothes and their toothbrush in their suitcase so that they can carry everything conveniently to the airport. But before they board the plane or get on the plane, they have to check in first. This is where they show their ticket and pick up their boarding pass. And if their suitcase or handbag is too big to carry on the plane, then they have to check it in as well. The airline company puts your suitcase in a special place on the plane where it won't get in everyone's way. This means that you travel much more comfortably while being sure that your suitcase is safe. Once everyone is on the plane along with their suitcase, then the plane is ready to take off. So the pilot taxis down the runway, building up enough speed so that the airplane can take off. And once it is going fast enough, then he lifts the nose of the plane so that it can fly. Right after taking off, you feel like you're driving in your car up a very steep hill at a very high speed, just with a lot more noise than you would hear in a car. But after taking off and reaching the right altitude, then the plane levels off and the ride is much more enjoyable. At that point, you can relax and enjoy the ride, knowing that soon you will arrive at your destination. On most flights, the stewardesses serve you a snack and something to drink. If it's a really long flight, then they may even serve a nice meal. And then after that, you can watch a movie. If you don't feel like watching the movie, then you can listen to music or read a book. Many people end up sleeping during the flight, especially if it's at night. The seats aren't as comfortable as sleeping in a bed, but you usually have enough room to relax and sleep for a bit. Once the plane gets closer to your destination, then it will begin descending so that it can land. You can actually feel the plane descending, which can be a weird sensation at times. But as the plane gets closer to the airport, it will circle the city as it prepares to land. The pilot will line the airplane up with the runway and then come in for the landing. You may even feel a slight bump as the wheels of the plane touch down on the pavement during the landing. But even if you aren't afraid of flying or get nervous during the flight, it's always a relief to know that the plane has landed and you're back safely on solid ground. And although the journey is usually a fun adventure, it is nice to know that you have arrived at your destination. So now you can relax and rest up from the long journey, and then you can enjoy your time there. Because vacations are always fun, aren't they? Do you remember a really fun trip that you took? A time where you traveled somewhere really nice? A place that you traveled? Some place you really enjoyed? Think about it for a minute. Remember how good it felt to be there? Imagine how nice it would be to take that kind of trip again. Where would that be? What would it be like? As you become aware of that trip in your mind, just go ahead and write it down on a piece of paper. Write down the details of your next trip and how you would like it to be.